Are you flipping the rage bait on me?
What is that existence? Responding to chuds. I love doing it. Let's go with the dog against the dogs. Alabama.
When I had a choice to pick a co-host.
I know.
Oh, you're betting on the game. Why would you be doing that? Because it's fun. Welcome back to another episode of Geek'd Bets. Joe DeLeone and Sean Anderson here to discuss the latest head coaching hires in the NFL. We're also going to take a full view at all the moves, and we're going to pitch what we think was the best and the worst moves from this NFL coaching cycle. We're also going to give our best bets of the night for college basketball, NBA, whatever's out there, our favorite picks for tonight. Make sure, so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming episodes, you're new to the show, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the like button on the video. Comment, what picks do you like this week? What picks do you like for the Super Bowl? Let us know in the comments. We're probably going to be determined, by the way, on what we're doing for the Thursday show this week. Sean is going to be at Radio Row. He is going to get his first exposure to Radio Row. For those that don't know what radio's like, I went 3 times, and it sucks. It's just an absolute mess. Are you actually going to be inside Radio Row, or are you going to get one of those outer booths? Do you know what your setup is?
We're not in the big dog. We're not in the big dog square, but we're in the row. I guess like we have a numbered table, is what I'm.
Oh, so you got relegated to,
but we're right
slappy row. That's
yeah. We're a bit on slappy row. It's fine. I've had it. Told this freaking trip. Let me tell you what I think I've been thinking about. Okay. First of all, there's gonna be 1 billion people there, which is fine.
Well, it's the Super Bowl, so yes, that's given.
Excited for that. I tend to not do fantastic in large crowds, given my immensity as a human being, and they don't like that either. So I'm gonna be already self-conscious about my placement in the arena. Additionally, I've heard a lot about San Francisco and all the hills. So, and I got about a half-mile walk from my hotel to the convention center.
Not that bad.
It shouldn't be that bad. It should be pretty easy.
Did you confirm if it's on a hill or
I
not?
can eat half-mile walks every day. It's no problem. I have no clue if I'm walking there straight up a hill or if I'm walking straight down a hill and I have to leave after quote-unquote you're going to work your dick off.
Is that someone said to you?
I am going to be working my D off. It's going to be definitely a 3-day stretch of sweat and getting told no. That's fun also, right? That's so much fun is walking around and having everyone tell you, no, can't do it.
There are a lot more people are a lot more receptive to giving interviews when you go up and request. You'd be surprised. You just have to be willing to go up and ask for it. What I'm most intrigued for is that usually – you're right. There's going to be a large mess of people. Again, for those who don't know, Radio Row is where all the media outlets go and they set up tables. And then on the outer row of Radio Row, you'll have like the big dogs. You'll get Sirius. You'll get Pat McAfee will have his own setup. ESPN. Like they're going to all have their setup, their own like big whole.
Oh, the blueprints are intricate.
Yeah.
It's like the bottom of a pyramid. And Front Office Sports has like a gargantuan setup.
Doesn't surprise me. A lot of these outlets that are willing to spend some money are going to try and do it. But the whole purpose is to get interviews with other media people. And there's a lot of athletes that go around promoting things. So what I can't wait for is the myriad of chuds that are going to be they're chasing down guests and they're going to see you. They're going to spot you and they go, oh, what team do you think he played for? What team you're going to get? I'm calling it now.
Do you think that's going to happen?
Yes.
Should I be a fake player?
That actually would be a good bit if you did that for
Should
content.
I be a fake
Go
player?
around and pitch it. Get one other. Shanza works as a producer, hence why he's going. Get another producer to walk around with you and pitch you as a guest.
I'm gonna have
pretend that you played for like the Rams in 2018 or something like that.
I'm gonna have a coworker that will be my camera person throughout the duration
of
Radio Row. So maybe I'll see if she can de facto be like, oh,
we're here to promote.
He could find some time.
Could
I be a fake player? Why will they not like it if I'm a fake player?
What's the one? No, I'm not going to go down there. I was going to say, what's the one ad with the really fat guy that everyone hates?
Yeah.
Is Eli Lilly?
I've been dieting since 14. Here, I'm here to tell my story.
No, but just come up with a random name for a company. Like, oh yeah, This is Sean Anderson. He was a member of the Bills from 2012 to 2018.
I'm gonna say I'm Mason Graham currently. That's what I'm gonna say.
You could do that.
Hi, I'm Mason Graham.
I think you could
shocked
dupe
by
some
my
people.
appearance. Yeah, I bet you are.
I think you could dupe some people because this is my point: is that there is going to be a scattered group of companies that are going to be very poorly run, that have dumb producers that don't know what most of the former NFL players look like. And I think that many of them are going to just think that you are if you walk around enough.
Do you think I'll get yelled at if I do that?
If you pitch yourself as a guest?
Do you think, one, my bosses will yell at me? Two,
Just
their
tell them you're
bosses
gonna
will
do it.
yell at me? Or three,
Who cares?
the big Super Bowl people who yell at me.
Who cares? There's no big super. It is a unmonitored, chaotic.
That can't be true.
There's no one that's going around being like, "Hey, stop that." There's no one doing that.
Here's my problem with like adult life is I always think that there's a principal somewhere that's going to end up kicking in the door and be like, Anderson, you're busted. I'm like, oh, what I do this time.
No, it is, again, it is a collection of every single producer in the country that you'll get an exposure to which ones don't know what they're doing and which ones do, because they get caught up in the lights and like, wow, this is all cool and
I think
fun.
I'll see Cam Rodgers there.
God, can you full speed tackle him?
No, I don't think so. I'd like to. Oh, he's fine.
All right. We gotta actually get to
do we?
Some football here. It's gonna be a fun week, though. I'm excited to get updates from you. Klint Kubiak is expected to be the Las Vegas Raiders' next head coach, and this ends up being surprisingly adult move for the Raiders, who have just been bad hire after bad hire after bad hire. They have not gotten this right, and I guess Gruden was the last coach who kind of worked, but he was removed from his position for the inappropriate emails that surfaced in the comments that he was making. So that hire was also a mistake because he wasn't fit to be a head coach. Kubiak, on the other hand, though, he was a name that was being brought up for major openings. And if it wasn't for the fact that a lot of these other big name guys got fired and were available and on the market, Kubiak might have gotten hired sooner, not to mention the fact that his team is in the Super Bowl, which impacted his ability to get interviewed. The Raiders benefited from being able to just kind of sit back and wait, and nobody wanted to be patient and actually go through the interview process and wait for Kubiak to be ready to be spoken to.
Yeah.
Raiders are coming away with this with what feels like a really good hire. They were 8th in yards this year, 3rd in points, or he was, as the Seahawks offensive coordinator.
Man, I'm so happy for the Raiders and how they just sucked their way into a very talented offensive coordinator to be a part of their team. I'm so happy for them. I hope they do so well.
What is this?
I hate that
you don't like the Raiders?
I hate that the Raiders got a good coordinator and my stupid team didn't wait and exercised no patience, and I don't exercise, so I'm also grumpy. Klint Kubiak is a very, very good hire. What he did with the Seattle team this year, look, they had JSN, who was a one wide receiver, but he wasn't the one wide receiver that we saw this year. Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet were both like 20 to 28 running backs, where you could put them in, plug them in. They're going to get you your 3.4 and they're going to score a touchdown every now and then. And then you got Sam Darnold, who was the question mark, and an offensive line full of question marks. I'll be damned if he didn't turn it into one of the best offenses in the NFL, like where everything worked, where it all looked good, where AJ Barner, I now know his name. Why would I know that dude's name? He was a nothing, and now I know his name, and I'm aware of what he can do on the football field. That's what a good offensive coordinator does. It makes the nobody players relevant. It makes the good player. He makes the good players into great players into stars, and that's what I saw in Seattle. The Raiders are so bad. They're so bad, Joe, and we saw how bad they were. But can he turn Ashton Genty great? Can he get more out of Brock Bowers? Can they find a wide receiver? Their wide receiver room is abysmal. Trey Tucker, Jack Beck, Dante Thornton, what?
Jack Besh.
Jack Besh needs to get Jack Besher and maybe go to the XFL or something. Terrible.
He was a good pick, but they didn't have anyone throwing him the ball. Here's the thing.
I shouldn't be trashing him. I actually thought he was a decent player in college.
Nice.
Yeah, that's tough.
Nice. I think that the most exciting part about this is I always love the premise of offensive-minded coach, and there's been a recent track record of success with offensive coaches getting teams to Super Bowls. This is the first time in a long time that we've had 2 defensive coaches, let alone 1, get to a Super Bowl. But I love the ability for Kubiak to come in, to have Mendoza coming in as he's entering, to be able to build the offense around him. Mendoza, this might be a hot take. Mendoza has one of the better, not one of the best, but one of the better first overall pick situations to jump into. He's not being drafted by a team with a lame duck head coach. How many times have we seen that freaking happen?
Yeah.
It happened with Cam Ward. It happened with Caleb Williams.
Might as well line him up with a new guy, too.
It happened with Bryce Young. The amount of times that this keeps happening where doo-doo ass coach who's not good at his job is like, let's give him just one. Maybe he'll figure it out this time.
Well, the coach said I never had a quarterback to win with.
Oh, there you go.
Let me get a chance.
It allows for the growth process to happen. And if we're looking at this roster, the offensive line is not bad. I think they need to be aggressive. They've got top 2 salary cap space. I forget if they're 1 or 2 between them and the Titans. They might have the most. I'm going to check that in a second.
I think they had the second most. Titans have like 102 million.
Yeah, they both have a ridiculous amount of money. Go spend some money on some offensive linemen. Go spend some money on whatever top.
You don't think they should keep DJ Glaze?
Glaze is
That'd be your DJ name, by the way. Hey, I'm DJ Glaze. This place is so great.
Shut up. Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty, I think, present a lot of explosiveness. You're probably going to need to sign a free agent receiver, draft a receiver in the second round when you come back around. But there's a real opportunity where they shock some people and perform well at the second half of the year and maybe get 6-7 wins and then have a really big year too. This feels like a really solid base for a franchise that has just been so awful. They have been incoherent decision after incoherent decision, and this is one of the most coherent things that they've done.
Dude, I know we're in the offseason, and I'm looking at their depth chart now. They got Jamal Adams as their weak side linebacker.
Yep. Did you not know that?
I didn't know he was
also,
a linebacker.
Devin White was like one of the top tackle getters this season in the NFL. He might have.
Holy hell. 174 total tackles, 95 solos. Good.
That might have actually been some sort
of.
Well,
I guess if you're always on defense, you're going to have more opportunities to get tackles. Why is Brock Bowers not listed on the depth chart? What am I missing?
He's probably because he's on IR.
I don't like not seeing him on here. Like that if I was a Raiders fan, that would be like, hey, get him on there. I don't care if it has an IR designation. I don't like not seeing him. They need the whole wide receiver room needs to rehaul. They got their running back. They got their tight end. Upgrade at quarterback, which is crazy for a rookie that's never played a snap to be an upgrade over Geno, but he is. I love the Geno narrative coming back to roost this right before the Super Bowl. It's great. He was terrible. Defense is terrible too. Oh my God. It's just an uphill climb, Joe. Like as much as I want to be so in on this,
it's going to be a multi-year process.
It's going to take time for me.
The best outcome in the first year is a lot of positive signs for Mendoza, and maybe a receiver emerges and Genty goes over 1,000 yards and they actually get some blocking for him. And
I'd get him Mendoza, and I'd get him one of those wide receivers from Indiana. Just, hey, we're going to pick it up right here on the spot. Surratt,
that happens all the time in the league. I mean, we've seen that happen so many times with Tua is the best example where they went and drafted Jalen Waddle to repair with him. But I think that there is a path for success by going down that route. Michael LaFleur is the new head coach for the Cardinals, is expected to be. This one, I don't know how to feel. I think that LaFleur has been around the Rams for 4 seasons as their offensive coordinator. This past season, they were number 1 in yards, number 1 in points. It's safe, but also kind of lazy to just hire off of the McVay tree. I don't think anyone wanted this Cardinals job. I don't think anyone wanted to touch this because of the fact that you have a hellish situation to figure out with the big contract with Kyler Murray. Marvin Harrison Jr. is underperformed. Defensively, you've got some pieces, but a whole lot of inconsistency. I just think that there's a lot of construction that needs to go on to get this team trending in the right direction. And I don't know how long that's going to take. Do you think that I think that the biggest problem with this Cardinals situation is that you have to commit aggressively to a decision to how you're going to put this team in the right direction going forward. And if you make the wrong decision, you're going to get fired and this whole thing is going to collapse underneath you. And what I mean by that is if you commit to Kyler and say, you know what, we're going to go all in on him. We're going to see what we can do. He stinks again this year and he's banged up, whatever it is, you waste a year. You move on from him and you move on from him at a point where it's going to be hard to get good compensation for him. Do you set yourself up to get fleeced? And do you also end up getting enough of a return out of that you can set your team up for success? You also can't draft a quarterback this year because there's no good quarterbacks to draft.
Yeah.
So you're throwing away this season potentially regardless. So there's just not a lot of positives here for Arizona. And I don't feel like LaFleur was such a enticing option that he is the savior.
Well, they can build on Keaton Slovis. They got young quarterback talent in the building.
Okay.
Well, it's ignorant. It's really ignorant. I'm sorry. The Cardinals, when I am looking at a team that is underperforming and kind of drowning, is what I saw the Arizona Cardinals at. I don't think when I see a 3-win football team, let me see how I can make them a Super Bowl team in 2 years. It doesn't happen like that. It really doesn't. I think, how can I get them to second place in their division in 2 years? And that is so tough in the NFC West, where you're going to have to pass the 49ers. You're going to have to pass the Seahawks. You're going to have to pass the Rams. You're going to have to pass two of those two teams to get to second place and possibly make the playoffs there. How do you do that? You need good quarterback play. So does that mean Kyler reemerges? That's a coin flip. I'd like you to be able to run the ball. James Conner, getting a little long in the tooth. Whole running back room this year, injured to bittens. Michael Wilson was a nice pickup at wide receiver, though, this year. Like, it seemed like he was developing in the absence of Marvin Harrison Jr. His team's a little bit bombed out, though. Offensive line's a little bombed out. Paris Johnson Jr. needs to stay on the field. They got a great tight end. It's like the Raiders, man. I'm looking at
There's
another
a lot
Raiders
of positives, but the difference here, though, is that there is there's a really confusing situation on how you handle quarterback. I would think that if you bring in LaFleur, who's offensive-minded, the idea is we're going to try and give Kyler one more go. And I don't know if Cardinals fans have the patience for that.
They shouldn't, but it's their only option at this point. Like, I hate the Cardinals defense because
Jacoby was better than him.
Jacoby did play better than him. The Cardinals defense have a lot of players that I like, and they just give up points and they give away games. Like Will Johnson, Denzel Burke, Budda Baker. That is 3 players in the defensive backfield that I would be stoked to have on my team in my defensive backfield. Can't seem to win with them. Can't seem to find a way to put some games together in Arizona. This hire, LaFleur, is an unfortunate 50-50 jump ball luck situation, because it was either you're getting Kubiak, which I think everyone would be pretty fired up about, or you get Mike LaFleur. And they ended up on the LaFleur side of the stick, whereas the Raiders got Kubiak. They're both waiting it out. They're both sitting there waiting, like, oh, who where are they going to decide? Who's going to get the good guy? Who's going to get the unproven guy that didn't call plays in LA, but managed the offense, I guess, is what he did. I honestly, speculation here. I don't know exactly how hands-on Mike LaFleur was with that offense. I know he had to be in it, but seeing what Sean McVay does and his intensity, it feels like his whole baby that he's been raising. And then it's like, okay, here's the babysitter. Don't touch, like here are the instructions. Don't mess it up, because I've set up this baby to be pretty good. I'm not inspired by it. But I don't know if there were any coaches that would have inspired me in Arizona.
You know what I find just slightly, and maybe, by the way, this is an opportunity for us to be completely proven wrong. And maybe that's the low expectations coming into this and being one of the last hires. Maybe it is a chance for everybody being blown away by an early impact. They've tried to go splashy twice. Gannon was pretty highly sought after when he was coming out from when he was the defensive coordinator with the Eagles. Everybody was like, we need to grab a part of the Sirianni tree. And lo and behold, I don't know if that was a
bad tree.
Yeah, very bad tree already. Very, very bad roots going on there. And Cliff Kingsbury was the really splashy hire. It was a controversial one, but we're going all in on a completely different route here to produce success with Kyler, and that blew up in their faces. This feels like an ultra conservative one.
Yeah.
And it's so conservative. I have no idea what to expect, but I have to give credit here where they decided to go back to offense because they knew that was where their identity could be. The one thing that makes me feel a little bit odd is that Shieldhouse, the passing game coordinator, the younger guy, was the coach that was getting a lot of love during this process, and to the point where he was tied very closely to the Browns. Everybody expected him to be the Browns head coach if it wasn't for the whole Jim Schwartz situation, which ironically, they tried to force him upon whoever the head coach was going to be. And he got so pissed off that he didn't become the head coach that he ended up piecing out and leaving. I just find it a little weird that the younger guy with the smaller role was getting a lot of head coach attention, and LaFleur was barely getting brought up.
Yeah. It's got to be frustrating for Arizona to sit there and feel like you have the scraps, because I think it probably is the scraps. I don't know why you would wait this long and not go after McDermott and say, hey, you need a week? We'll take a week. We're Arizona. We got time. We can sit here and wait. If we were going to get a C-level guy in the matter of timeliness, I would have rather had a B+ level guy and been behind the 8 ball just a little bit more. I just do not agree with the operation that they had. I know, like, Mike Tomlin wouldn't have gone there. That just. I
don't think he's obviously not coaching this year, but
right.
It didn't seem like he had much of a desire to get back into coaching. It seemed like he wanted to step away and take some time away, and it feels like more of a Sean Payton type of a decision. Speaking of that decision from Tomlin, let's evaluate the entire coaching carousel now that all of these moves have been filled. We can look at this at a grander scale and project what we think the best and the worst hires were. To me, Sean, the best hire of the coaching carousel this year for the NFL, and I think it's arguably the most underrated. I think that the Jesse Minter hire for the Ravens is such a tremendous hire. I know that there's a lot of different directions that we can turn to with. As a Giants fan, I'm very excited about Harbaugh, not trying to be homerish, and didn't want to pick him for that reason, being a Giants fan. I think that there's things to be excited about with Stefanski going to Atlanta. I think that there's excitement for. I'm excited about Todd Monken in Cleveland.
Are you really?
The vibes that he brings to the table, divorced dad fit that he showed up with. They asked him his favorite spot in Cleveland. He said The Office, which is just such a cracked psychopath answer. But I feel like Jesse Minter gives me Mike Macdonald vibes. And maybe it's just simply off the fact that they were both at one point a part of the Ravens staff. They both at one point were a part of or Michigan's defensive coordinator. They're both tied to Jim and John Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah.
I just believe that he's one of these defensive minds that can instill his identity into the team of physicality, winning through the trenches, getting the most out of his roster. Go look at the Chargers defense. The Chargers defense has some solid players, but I don't think anyone looks at that and thinks, man, these players are at a ridiculous level. He tapped out that defense's potential to the point where they were one of the best in the league. They were 5th in yards, 9th in points this year. Jesse Minter working with that defense as it's getting healthy, with Matabike coming back and getting Kyle Hamilton back on the field for the full year. You've got that whole squad of dudes that I think can be really, really set up to succeed, in assuming that there is a strong relationship early with Lamar Jackson. They can pick up right where they left off. That was what they needed. That was what the Ravens needed. They needed to pick up right where they left off, and this was the one hire to make to accomplish that and for that to happen.
Yeah, this Chargers defense didn't have a bunch of dudes. They were pretty good this year. I will concede that.
He got so much out of a group that's like any other coach running that unit, they're a mid-level to below average defense.
Whereas the Ravens have an awesome core, and they underperform. They do. They were terrible on defense.
They were this year. They were banged up, but they were. And the last time they were really good was when Mike Macdonald was running the defense.
I just don't like being on the Harbaugh tree as some point of like bonus for them. Jim's never won one in the NFL. John won 13 years ago. And then he went on to do nothing in Baltimore except waste some time and have some good winning seasons. That's fine, exciting. I've been on record saying the Baltimore Ravens are the most exciting regular season football team that we've had in the last 5 years, which means something to me. So I'm not trying to just crush the Ravens, but they didn't really do anything. Jim hasn't really done anything in the NFL. He's the if man of coaching. Like that's what I'm looking at with him. Also, I'm not bragging about being a Michigan man either, or being on that team with all those circumstances that they had to deal with. So looking at like the track record, fine. Like I don't want anybody to sit here and say, oh, he's coming from like a glorious background of tutelage. No, he's been with a bunch of scumbags, and that's fine. But let's call it that. Can he coach up a good defense? That's all that should matter to me. And I think he might be able to.
That's my point.
It's a fine hire. But I'm not going to be sitting here and saying, oh, this guy rules because he was with those two goobers.
What's your best hire?
My best hire for maybe the worst team, one of the worst teams we've seen in a while, the Tennessee Titans, get right. They hire Robert Saleh as the head coach. Mike Vrabel 2.0, I'd like to call him. Mike Vrabel 2.0 coming back into Nashville.
That's so pandering.
It feels like
so pandering of you.
Seeing what they've done with the other coaches since and the terrible, awful performance and product they put on the field. It's almost like Tennessee had the wherewithal to look inward and say, our success here came with a hard-nosed coach and our good running game. And when we played really good defense. And then we got rid of that guy because we didn't like him. And so, you know what they did? Let's hire another one of those guys. I love it. Robert Saleh's a little crazy. He's just a guy that I think gets a lot out of NFL players. Just his look. You look at Robert Saleh and you say, all right, coach, what do you need me to do? You are a brick S-house of a man, carved out of freaking copper, and then you're telling me what to do, and you just it's a click move for them. Additionally, it helps bring in Brian Daboll to be on the offensive side. That makes the Robert Saleh hire better because when he was with the Jets defense was good, Jets offense tragic. Brian Daboll times I'm not going to defend anything that he did in New York. Actually, I'm just not going to do it. I'll defend what he did in Buffalo. Work with the young quarterback. Get Cam Ward right.
What he was successful in Buffalo.
Yeah, I will. I'll defend what he did in Buffalo.
But defend is not the right word. What do you mean defend?
Well, I'm not
a successful coach in Buffalo.
Well, sorry, I shouldn't bring up his time with the Giants as a reference point for him being a good coach.
Yeah, that's what you meant.
Yes, I would refer to him being a quality coach with Buffalo, and maybe we could do that in Tennessee. So I like the yin yang that I'm seeing: defensive big man, offensive coordinator, big hit hire for the Titans. They need it. They had a good rookie class this year too. The offensive pieces that they drafted this season, good. They're a good class. They need stars, but they have bones to actually have success. I've seen it. I know what Cam Ward can do. He just needs a defense that doesn't suck, and he needs coaches and ownership and leadership that aren't clipping him at his Achilles.
I'm fine with this pick because I think that Saleh does provide the right type of presence with a retread. I think that Saleh was set up for failure with a terrible franchise that has no idea how to win with the Jets. I'm not going to hold that against him. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, a former Jets coach didn't get it done. Yeah.
That means nothing to me.
I feel like Todd Bowles is the perfect example of a coach who found success elsewhere after getting away from the Jets. Most people who get away from the Jets end up having a better time in the NFL. So I think that Saleh has a lot to prove. Not to mention the fact that the 1 year that he had a good quarterback, he got clipped out underneath it because Woody Johnson's a moron and fired him way too soon before the season could play out. There is a lot on the table for this, and I think that Daboll has shown an ability to work with young quarterbacks, which is why there is a lot on the table. So I'm not gonna argue with this. Worst head coaching hire, Mike McCarthy.
That's crazy.
I'm so what?
Go ahead.
Do you think this was a good hire?
It's not my worst hire by any means,
dude. Mike McCarthy. It's such an uncreative, lame.
That's true.
Oh, we need to hire a coach. We got to hire someone that people know. Otherwise, everyone's going to get pissed at us when this doesn't work.
Correct.
At least we could pretend that, well, we thought it would work because he was a successful coach with the two franchises he was with before. The third time around is such a stupid. If you have to say this is the third place that he's coached, He's not Bill Parcells. This is so stupid. He won 1 Super Bowl, but here's the biggest problem that comes with all this.
Okay.
He was successful with Aaron Rodgers.
Mhm.
He was successful with Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
He has never had to build up the foundation of a team and to build them towards success. If anything, we saw an example of a regression that he had in Dallas with the way that he finished up.
It's terrible.
I don't think a lot of people realize the undertaking that is ahead for the Steelers. This is a really good roster, but it's an aging roster. The most important aspect of this is that they don't have a freaking quarterback.
Yeah, that hurts him.
Even if Aaron Rodgers comes back, which I know that he was asked about it during his opening presser, that's not a long-term solution. This is, I would argue, the worst quarterback situation in the NFL because you are sitting in the 20s for a pick. What is Malik Willis? Is that what's going to save you? Is Malik? That is your best option.
Oh.
Russell Wilson, you going to bring Russell Wilson back?
I would not do that.
Marcus Mariota is also a free agent. You going to go get Marcus Mariota?
He's not so good.
And Daniel Jones is the only other option, and he's probably going back to the Colts.
Could they pull Derek Carr out of retirement?
God, could you imagine if that was their solution? Mike
McCarthy, Derek Carr, 2026 on the Steelers.
No.
Let's make it happen.
I think a lot of Saints fans would say that they would rather the Steelers stopped existing than watching Derek Carr.
Screw you.
Play
You
for
saw
their
Phillip
team.
Rivers re-enter the league this year. I want to see
Rivers
Derek Carr get into it.
more cerebral, 10 times more cerebral, and probably had the same amount of arm strength as Derek Carr did in his last year.
Who's
with the
more
Saints.
godly, though? You know, Pittsburgh's a religious town.
Is it?
Yeah, pretty religious.
Look, at the end of the day, I think that this is multiple years of maneuvering to figure out what you're doing at quarterback. You might not have your guy for 2 years, and I just don't see McCarthy. You needed a team builder. You needed somebody who was going to execute early success and also establish a transition at quarterback. And I don't think that Mike McCarthy is going to be able to do that. They're going to do multiple duct tape jobs over the next 3 years, and then they're going to fire him.
It's going to be a bummer because one of the best parts of NFL lore and Steelers lore is like their head coach history, where it's, they just have so few and they ride out for so long, and it's always captain success. They all have Super Bowl wins there. Like there's a legacy of being a Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. Mike McCarthy, I think, could have done it and could have done well if he hadn't done Dallas and they just got rid of Tomlin and did that switcheroo where it was just more time on the clock for him to get situated and build something up. That was strong. 62, it's not the oldest in the NFL. We had Carroll at 73 last year. So you got a decade basically to you're capped out to last year's highest or most aged coach. I don't hate it, though. I just don't. Mike McCarthy at least wins. He at least wins ball games, but I would have rather seen him go make a collective unit of a team that is undisciplined or underperforming, or they're just young and they need to learn how to become NFL players in an NFL team, than jump into the Steelers who just need a bit of the resuscitate. You need to resuscitate. You need a quarterback. I don't think Mike McCarthy's that guy.
That's my point.
Which is kind of concerning, but it's fine. He's a Pittsburgh guy. You don't like that he's a Pittsburgh guy going?
I think that they got duped into that. I think that they got sold into. They were easily duped into thinking that was so meaningful and key that he's a Pittsburgh guy they had to hire him for the connection. I just don't believe that this is something that produces long-term success.
They should have hired Flores. Flores could have been there for 10 years. Could have taken a couple cycles to get the right OC and quarterback, and they'd still be playing good defense.
Yeah, I think Flores is going to be one of those guys eventually when he gets another head coaching job and he's away from a bad franchise. Yeah, that he'll be a good coach. What's your worst hire?
John Harbaugh.
Okay, wait.
For the narrative,
dude, you can't freaking say what you just said about McCarthy and then think that Harbaugh is a bad hire. Harbaugh's a more successful coach to McCarthy. Well, you're saying stupid shit.
Well, I didn't even get a chance.
You're just saying dumb. Go ahead, explain.
Well, I just don't like the hire because of the narrative, and they're calling him the next Tom Coughlin. They're calling him the next Tom Coughlin, Joe.
Because you're salty that your team didn't get him.
A little bit. Atlanta needed a Coughlin. We didn't need Stefanski. You guys needed Stefanski. Don't. Look,
don't get jealous.
I am jealous, and I'm jealous that they're just completely misreading what John Harbaugh is going to be with the Giants. If he starts off 3-0, they're going to throw a parade. They're going to lose 6 games. It's an unserious, unfocused organization.
It's the most adult decision that they've made since Coughlin. Coughlin, do you understand that Coughlin literally was the one who pushed for this to happen too? He kept parading ownership to hire him.
His legacy will be preserved when John Harbaugh comes in there.
Oh, you're an ass. What's your real answer to
this? It's LaFleur. It's LaFleur in Arizona. Just because they were last of the draw. You were last of the draw. You got the run to the litter pick, and I don't think you made a very good pick. I don't think it was very savvy of Arizona. It didn't make a splash. It didn't make an impact. It's a guy that's going to spend 2 years there. Once they decide on the quarterback, then he's gone. It could be one. If it's 1 more year of Kyler or 2 more years of Kyler, then that's 1 year or 2 years of LaFleur, unless it's a miracle with him. Third runner-up, Joe Brady. Joe Brady, cried in his head coach press conference. Always going to not like that.
That's your take?
It's also my first time seeing Joe Brady talk and seeing how he, interacts and speaks. I am concerned.
Last coach you did this for took his team to the playoffs in a Mr. Liam Cohen.
Cohen was different. Cohen was like, I'm nothing. I'm not a football guy. I'm a dorky guy. Joe Brady feels like I'm a football guy. I don't have a brain up here. I know he does. He's fine on the offense, but I just did not like the Sean McDermott firing. And then we're going to elevate this goofball. So he feels like a goofball, Joe. That's what I'm saying. Okay. It's honestly, he feels like kind of a goofball.
I'm glad that you put this down because this was going to be my honorable mention that I was going to bring up. I think that Joe Brady is going to be a great coach. And I actually think that there's a chance that this probably works.
He's got Josh Allen.
Right. And it's the endorsement and the connection of working with Allen and the success that he had with him running the offense, even with limited receiving options. But the problem is you can't fire the head coach off of the premise of you weren't getting where you were trying to get to and then just turn around and hire the offensive coordinator.
No.
If you have the mentality here and the approach for the decision-making is why this is stupid. You can't look to clear house and reset culture and then just keep the same culture there. You can't do that. This is constantly one of the dumbest things that franchises do when they do the internal promotion. Ben McAdoo says hi. I'm just saying that you can't expect some sort of massive shift in the identity of the team when you're promoting somebody that was just a part of the last regime. It's flawed logic. I would have much rather Joe Brady have been a head coach somewhere else. I was hoping that Brian Callahan would have gotten fired and Joe Brady would have been, or not Brian Callahan, Zach Taylor would have been fired and Joe Brady would have been the Bengals head coach. That would have been sick.
That would have been awesome.
But
there's a lot of goofballs in Ohio that talk like Joe Brady, and they would have clicked.
Okay, man.
Come on. That
Blake's
matters to me.
Shoot you.
Yeah, Blake's got boys that talk like Joe Brady.
All right.
It feels a little GM though with this decision, where I feel like Josh Allen had some say in it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I like Joe."
Well, he apparently didn't have. He was a part of the interviews, but he didn't get final say.
Well, I think that you kind of.
I think the opposite's happening here. I think that he wants to have LeBron control, and I think that ownership is really dumb, and they're just doing. They're acting impulsively.
The GM stepped in here, I think, and said, "This is my boy.
Okay.
Let's stay with him."
Let's close out basketball bet of the night that we really like for tonight's games. My pick, Sean, that I'm going with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Stephen F. Austin plus 3.5 against McNeese. They've been a wagon for me right now. I keep betting on them because they keep covering. They're 12-3 in their last 15 games against the spread. This SFA team, man, they've got some teeth. They are very, very underrated team. And I think that this Grimace conference team, that's a reference to a show that the other show that we do, the FCS football podcast that we do. I think that this SFA team could be maybe a little bit of a sleeper for March Madness when the time comes around.
Okay. I mean, that McNeese squad has some heat, and they got some talent from the miracle run that they went on. But okay, you don't care. SFA. All right. Jesus. Bet an SFA in February?
Yeah, why do you think I'm so hot right now?
Is there March activity? Oh, you're hot. I'm so.
Yeah, whose bet hit on Saturday when we were sitting at the bar and you and I got into it?
Mine hit.
Your first one hit.
I'm doubling down on that hit going with the Kansas Jayhawks, getting 4.5 versus Texas Tech. Yes, please. Rock chalk. They can play ball there, man. Kansas put a licking. They put a licking on BYU.
You're getting duped.
They smoked BYU. They worked them over, and it was so nice. It was actually so nice watching Kansas play. I'm sitting here. They're so fundamentally strong. I'm like, is this a pro team? Am I watching pros
okay,
right
now?
now?
You're just gloating off the fact that you faded my pick.
I bet on a pro team to beat a college team. That's incredible, and I'm going to stay with it. Kansas is a good squad.
I think you're just all gassed up like I was about BYU, and you are bound to be disappointed like I was with BYU.
Here's the problem that we have.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Fading your buddy is much more fun than tailing him and be like, oh, hey, we're such good friends winning this money together. Like fading your friend and then talking all that cheese for the whole duration of a college basketball game. Super exciting. But it's always the person that takes the bet first that's losing so far. In our college basketball betting.
Yeah, so we just need it. Well, I bet on Kansas already, by the way. So this was not.
Why wouldn't you tell me something like that?
Well, because I'm hot right now, so you should be happy.
You're not. I'm hot right now.
No, you're not hot.
I was
right
hot
now.
until I took a bet first.
No. The flip that happened at the bar when Kentucky lost and played like ass against Arkansas.
No, Kentucky won. I took Arkansas.
Oh, I took Kentucky. Oops, I forgot.
No. You can't be I'm hot then oops. No,
I forgot.
You're a scumbag, and you're oopsing my Kansas bet.
All right, we got to get out of here. I had Joe DeLeone at Sanderson Radio. We will talk to you folks later. Enjoy the rest of your week.